Hello, and welcome to the XI Café, the Experience Improvement podcast brought to you by In Moment. My name is Corey Lindsay. I manage the content here at In Moment, and today we are talking to Andika Herboa and Terence Priggin, both CX professionals at New Zealand Post in their Voice of Customer and Insights team. Today we have a special episode happening as these two were the winners of the Best CX Team of 2023 by Ashton Media CX Awards. Today we'll explore their journey, innovative approaches, and team dynamics that set them apart in delivering outstanding customer experiences. Hello and welcome, Andika.
Hi, Corey.
And welcome to you too, Terence.
Kia ora, Corey.
Well, let's kick this off. So can you share a bit about your team's journey in achieving the Best CX Team Award? What were the key strategies and milestones that contributed to your success over there?
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So I guess we're thinking about key strategies and milestones. Just to take it back a couple of steps, Andika and I, when it comes to customer experience, we think about it, being such a broad concept, right? And it is the culmination of so many different individual components and individual contributors within an organization. If you think about customer experience and when you have an experience, there really is so many different people have the ability or impact to change that in some way or make that positive, or on the flip side, make it not so positive. And so my team, so the VOC and Insights team, we are a team of three. So we're a pretty small little mini team. And as contrite as the saying is, we often think and try and practice the idea of working smarter, not harder, and acknowledging that we cannot influence, every single person who has an interaction with customers or can create that customer experience to some degree, but we can, work a little bit smarter in the way we do as a team. And there's two kind of, I guess you could call them strategies that we do in order to do that. Which the first, which I'm sure we're going to talk about a bit more today, is very much around thinking about all those individual people who have that ability to impact customers. Our team, the VOC and Insights team, we really think about what we can do to empower those people to become customer advocates and experts. So we're always thinking of different ways that we can actually make sure that they have the tools, they have the insights, they have the information, they have the ability to connect with customers in different ways. And so very much at the core of what we do as a team, we think about how do we empower staff to be those customer advocates or experts, whether it is through identifying customer champions and making sure that they have the ability and reach within their different networks. Or alternatively, we very much use a model of, we have a very detailed and wide-ranging VOC program through In Moment, and we leverage the self-service technology within that tool to actually reach all those different individuals and help them actually make sure that they have that connection and that ability to understand customers. So it's very much that self-service side of things. That's the first kind of, I guess, strategy we use. And then another one that we think of very much in terms of, being that CX team is we have a really solid CX framework that we work to. And what I mean by that is we identify throughout the customer journey or customer experience, what does that look like? And how does every single one of our pieces of work or projects fit into that from, I guess, a framework perspective? Whether that is down to thinking about all those little individual touch points that you have as a customer within an organization. So at a touch point level, saying, is that good? Is that bad? Could that be better? Then we kind of layer up to the next level in the framework, which very much thinks about it from that full customer journey end-to-end idea. So, if you are receiving a parcel right from the very beginning of buying something online and, encountering different delivery options all the way through to, tracking your tool, notifications, if something goes wrong, what does that look like, until finally getting that parcel and whatever might come at the end of that. We sort of look at that as the big picture to understand, okay, well, so which of these has more or less impact, and which of these might require more or less investment, and how do they interrelate? And then the highest level we often work to is sort of more of a brand level. So thinking about how a customer experience fits into it, from developing what you think and feel and your concept of an organization. So like New Zealand Post. So that's very much the two different kinds of strategies that we often work to here in my team.
Yeah, that's super interesting. You've mentioned building, yeah, a team requires effective collaboration. Are there any specific team building activities or practices that you find particularly effective at New Zealand Post?
Yeah, for me, to build a positive and collaborative environment in our team is by creating a culture of trust where we can be comfortable, asking questions, share, learn, and understand different perspectives. And as Terence mentioned, as a small team, we work really closely together, and that allows us to constantly share, bounce ideas, and have a quick brainstorming sessions as well. Even nowadays, where people like to work remotely, digitally, we can still do that too with the help of technology. And as you said, Corey, to be a good CX team, we need to be able to collaborate effectively with wider stakeholders. Terence mentioned again that we work with different team, different stakeholders, and they all have different way of doing things. So sometimes we have to be flexible and adaptable with how we approach different stakeholders, right? And so by bringing this curious mindset and this collaborative team culture as we approach different stakeholders, whether internal or external, we're able to build this positive relationship and eventually build trust over time. I think we also need to acknowledge that sometimes the work that we do can be very complex and challenging. So it is important to, as a team, to enjoy the process that we do and have fun along the way. Um, so in terms of an effective team building practices, for me, there are a few things that we do regularly. For example, volunteering in the community together or having a casual catch up. I really do like the regular catch up that we do. We check in on each other and we talk about our interests outside of work. But then we also able to switch the focus and brainstorm how we approach challenges at work and strategize how we approach things as a team. So for me personally, it's all about having a nice balance. Yeah, what do you think, Terence?
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree with all those sort of soft skills, Andika. And in particular, I 100% support you in the idea of making sure that work is really fun. I think what we do, understanding customers and getting to talk to customers and exploring all these ideas and things like that, is at the heart of it actually really fun. So I'm a big promoter of that. Like whenever we can, like let's try and find things that are interesting or exciting, or be a little more creative with stuff. I think that is really, I think both can ultimately makes the work that we do better and the insight stronger, but also makes you feel more filled generally, I'd say. So I totally agree. Plus one, all that stuff, and Deco's mentioned. I think interestingly too, so our team, we are a team of three. I often think, and this might kind of seem a little counterintuitive, but in a weird way, I'd say autonomy actually creates or encourages collaboration. And the way we kind of bring that to life is thinking, okay, so each member of our team should be or is the expert in a particular customer segment. So we don't delineate on tools. We don't delineate on particular projects, whether it is our voice of the customer project or whether it is our brand tracking. We don't delineate on those specific things. Instead, we really think about and bring to it in terms of which customer segment do we represent. So, for example, Andika is the absolute expert when it comes to wanting to understand what do our business customers think or feel, or what are their experiences. So he gets to lead and think about and live and breathe that customers' experiences. But if it's the receivers, there's another team member who comes in as the expert for that. So really it's about that autonomy over that particular customer type, I think, that ultimately creates collaboration, because when it comes down to it, there's a project, many of the work that we do actually touches multiple segments or multiple customer types, and they are more often than not relevant to one another. So you might be talking to our receivers. Those are people who get parcels in the mail or in the post or courier delivered to them. That experience and understanding what that's like is really interesting and fascinating to our business customers. And so we want to know, okay, well, how does that relate, and how can we bring that to life for those business customers? So, basically what that means is we all kind of have we have a vested interest in making sure that it's great, and in doing so we are forced to collaborate. So I'm a big supporter in terms of giving people the space and autonomy to lead.
Yeah, amazing. Well, we do know that employees are one part of the puzzle, but customers are another entirely. So I'm curious to know, as customer expectations are constantly evolving, how does your team stay ahead of the curve in terms of innovation in CX over there?
Yeah, thanks, Corey. It's always interesting when discussing about innovations because it could mean different things, right? For us, innovation is not just about new exciting technology, but it could also be different ideas that weren't previously considered or explored, especially relating to how we improve customer experience or when we approach a business issue in general. Innovation doesn't have to be massive or a big overhaul of the system. It can be a simple tweak, utilizing what we already have. I can give you an example. A couple of years ago, post COVID lockdown, we saw a surge of people having their meal box delivered. So all of a sudden, we saw a huge volume coming to our network from these food boxes subscriptions. And through our voice of customer program, we had we received some poor feedback about a particular issue around delivery instruction around on this food boxes. So we worked with the product team, operational, and technology to understand what was causing this poor delivery instructions and how frequently it was happening. We worked alongside parts of the business that often had new processes applied to them, such as technology team. And rather than working through the solution for them, um, as a result, and through our voice of customer insights, that we able to gain, from InMoment platform, we uncovered the root cause, and we were able to establish a simple update in our courier scanner for this food boxes instructions. So at the end, we were able to create a consistent single source of delivery instruction and push that literally to the hands of our courier, all with minimal budget. Um, so yeah, that's just one example of how we could innovate in the business by utilizing what we already have and work what we already have. So for us, there are a lot of ways to stay ahead of the curve. And what resonates to me the most is by staying curious, and being open-minded about new or different ideas. Um, However, it's also important to understand the impact to customer or the potential value of it. it's not it's not just about understanding what this new idea is, but also why it's relevant or why is it aligned to our purpose, and also what value does this bring, or how does this help us to achieve our CX goal of improving customer experience. Um, so again, going back to the collaborative approach, having a conversation is key, and we love to share and learn from other people too. For example, we like to attend forum where other organizations share their challenges they're facing, or it could be as simpler just sharing knowledge with our peers or different team in the business as well. We worked with many smart people in wider teams, from frontline people who deal with customers directly, operational who manage day-to-day operation to make sure that the parcels is delivered on time, marketing, UX, and other teams as well. And this gives us massive opportunity to learn about many things and exposing ourselves to interesting thoughts and insights about customers. And last but not least, that I want to mention is the importance of company culture too. I think we're lucky to have such a positive company culture where our leaders embrace innovations and openness to learn and also being agile. This really does help us to stay ahead and being flexible on how we approach things.
Yeah, culture was actually my next question for you, Terrence. When it comes to creating a customer-centric culture, we know that each person is super important for delivering experiences. How do you guys make sure that every member behind the scenes over at New Zealand Post, every driver who's delivering the parcels, every retail worker in the stores are aligned to that mindset? If you have any specific rituals or practices that reinforce this culture, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting question and something that I think constantly practitioners in our area are forever trying to, I guess, activate and understand and grow better, right? We're all trying to find ways to understand how can we make the culture or the place that we work or the people we work with really put the customer first and have that really strong customer first mindset. And interestingly, I would say, um, you know, when you truly stop and think about it, customer experience is universal. We are all customers. I think like you and I and whoever we're working with in any organization, no matter who you're touching, they're all customers. And so, in this interesting way, I think it's actually a lot easier to get people and shift their mindset to start them thinking and empathizing and looking at what they do from a more customer first perspective. I think what it just takes is a few nudges and shifting of perception or what you're sort of focusing on. At New Zealand Post, we are lucky enough to work with all these awesome specialists and experts who do one thing or do a whole multitude, actually, most likely a multitude of things really amazingly. So whether it's design or technology or leading people, they are really awesome at those specialist skills. Um, and I think what often happens though is that when you get really focused in on that very specific area, you can get quite to the nitty gritty. If it's technology, you're looking at all the the very different components and the individual pieces that make up something technologically that you have to take into full consideration. And so that is kind of where you start to put that specialist practice first. But I think a team like our team, we actually have, or we're lucky enough to have the ability or actually responsibility to bring that customer to life and to give them the tools, give them the insights, give them the information that helps them actually pull that customer first and really think about what they're doing, that concept of delivering for a customer first point of view. But I think it just takes a few different nudges or making sure that tools are accessible, information is accessible. I'm not going to come here and say, we've already got this nailed, we've figured it out, this is exactly the answer, and everybody is so easy to get everything, customer first. We're definitely on a journey to achieve it. But when you talk about things like specific rituals or practices that help us reinforce this culture, there is something that, Indika and I and our team really try and keep first and foremost when it comes to delivering information and insights that we sit across is twofold. It is linking what we're doing or what that individual's doing to the purpose of the New Zealand Post. So just trying to, you don't necessarily need to outright say it, but we start to think about, okay, cool, how does this actually relate to ultimately what is New Zealand Post trying to achieve? What's their aspirations? And then secondly, why is it important? So what is someone trying to achieve? What are they trying to understand? Really connecting it deeply into that why, I think, is really key. So, it's so easy, particularly when you're in a VOC and Insights team, to start to think, get very routine around things like NPS or CSAT or whatever. And, it can become quite tempting to just share a report and tell a number because everybody sort of already knows that number. And we all think that we're all across it, and 85 means 85 or whatever it might be. But whenever we're presenting or getting to engage with people, we very much think about, okay, cool. The aspiration of New Zealand Post, what is that? And then why does this matter? So, for example, if they're talking about parcel delivery, we have this aspiration to be the best delivery business for New Zealand Post. For New Zealand, best delivery business for New Zealand. And then why does that matter? Well, we know that a great delivery experience helps our customers' business grow. So, if you buy something online and you have a fantastic delivery experience, you're probably going to buy that again, or if you are sending something to someone, if you know that that delivery experience is great, then you have confidence and you're going to be sending more frequently in the future. So very much whatever we do, we try and think, okay, let's link it back to why is this important and why does it matter for New Zealand Post? And in doing so, making sure that people don't just see things as an amorphous number floating in nothing or whatever you might call it, but really have a clear sense of what they're looking to achieve. I don't know, yeah, Andika, I know you've, engaged with lots of different teams throughout New Zealand Post. Do you have any, I don't know, like a good example or something that comes top of mind when you think about an area we've built that sort of customer centricity?
Yeah, we do have some examples, and yes, like you said, Terence, we are still on the journey on creating this ideal, customer-centric culture. But we've already seen some teams are already starting to embrace this customer-centric culture. So we work with many teams, right, who have varying degrees of influence on customer experience. But I think I can highlight an example of working with our operational team. So they are called the service delivery managers, and these are the people who are on the floor at our operating centers, making sure that our parcel delivery operations run smoothly and parcels get to their recipients not only on time but also the instructions being followed and delivered securely too. And these people have huge influence on providing a great parcel receiver experience because of their day-to-day role dealing with parcels, couriers, and processes that they work really hard to make sure that it's happening smoothly. And so through the Voice of Customer program, they have established some great practices and culture, utilizing the customer insights such as key themes from the survey, and not just about the numbers. And they actually using these on, for example, daily briefing or some other forum that not just to improve our service delivery, but also to celebrate success. And we also are there readily available to guide or remind them what that means to wider business or the purpose of having a great customer experience. And this practice helps them feel empowered too, because they can identify and have a control around what needs to be done or improved. So it's really amazing to see that they really care about delivering great service and customer experience. And we want to use this example to showcase and then influence other teams to eventually empower them, giving them tools, and be a customer advocates and filling them well equipped with the right tool. Um, yeah, so as a team who are constantly talking to various stakeholders from frontline operations and those who can make changes, for example, on our website or product launch and so on and so forth, I'd say we have the privilege to see the impact from one initiative to the actual customer experience. And I think this is an opportunity for us, our team to remind people of the why and the impact on it has on customer. And I think this will help create awareness and ultimately creating a culture of customer centric.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I love the idea of combining the why behind the impact. As the winners of the Best CX Team Award, I'd like to round out the podcast by asking you for your unique perspective. For businesses looking to enhance their initiatives, what advice would you give them based on your team's successes? Are there perhaps any fundamental principles or strategies that you believe are universally applicable?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I always feel like giving advice makes me seem more wise than I really feel. But I'm going to give three kind of rapid fire, I guess, things that often we think about and, other businesses or other individuals might find helpful. So I think we've talked a bit about it already, but firstly, uh, making it really clear that you link whatever you're trying to do or understand, whatever that initiative might be, how does that actually impact from a business performance perspective? Be really clear in your mind what is the impact for the business when you're talking about that initiative. So, is that going to, improve? Our business performance in terms of making us more money, or maybe it is going to be saving us money, or is it going to be helping our business customers grow? Really clear what that link is for from a business performance point of view. Secondly, I think customers are people. We are lucky enough in this CX world to get to have such an interesting, I guess, topic to focus on. So, really lean into the empathy and the human storytelling when it comes to what we do. We've talked a little bit about metrics, super powerful, really great proof point. Never forget to communicate that human impact and story alongside it. That really helps you bring something more to life. And then lastly, I'd say, as simple as this is, listen to everybody. So, as we said before, I kind of think of everybody as a customer expert. I think everybody has a really interesting perspective and idea. I always approach anything I do with curiosity. In fact, I actually love to be proven wrong. I think it can take a bit of separating yourself from, I guess, that sense of ego when someone has proved you wrong in a way and thinking, "Oh, wish I had known that," or "I feel bad," or whatever. But actually, it's awesome to be proven wrong because in many ways you can learn so much from that. You don't want to be stuck into a cycle of relitigating different decisions or outcomes. But also, on the flip side, don't let that make you stubborn. Listening is such an awesome skill that we get to do in our area.
Well, that is a wrap. And Deacon and Terrence, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and having such an in-depth conversation with us about your CX journey. And thank you to our guests for listening to the XI Cafe podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for more just like this in the future. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.